Okay, I think now we're finally ready. All right, good morning, everyone, and thank you all for joining us for today's A Month of Service presentation of Coffee and Conversation. We want to welcome you to today's A Month of Service presentation. My name is Nia Murray. I am the programs coordinator with Neighborhood Recovery Community Development Corporation, and we are one of the partners in the A Month of Service collaboration. Also included is the City of Houston's Department of Neighborhoods, who's hosting our coffee and conversation for today, and we're being joined by Ms. Myra Hippolyte. Also included in the partnership, we have Lone Star Legal Aid, the Earl Carl Institute, Houston Volunteer Lawyers, Houston Bar Association, Harris Central Appraisal District, and the Harris County Tax Assessor Collector's Office. And together we make up A Month of Service. And basically what A Month of Service is a collaboration of all 8 of our organizations. We come together on a monthly basis and offer a variety of different workshops relative to asset building, asset protection, and the maintaining of generational wealth. I'm not sure why this is still keep going like this. At any rate, we decided to come together several years ago in a means or in an effort to help reach more people around the city of Houston and across Harris County. However, this virtual and now hybrid platform has allowed us the opportunity to reach even more people throughout the county, surrounding counties, and around the state of Texas as well. So thanks to you guys' support and your continued participation, you guys have also made that possible for us to be able to do that. So thank you guys for your participation. Without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Myra Hippolyte so that we can move forward with our coffee and conversation and hear what's going on with the city of Houston. This is you guys' opportunity to get updates on what's going on around the city, ask questions, to voice any kind of concerns that you may have, as well as kind of hear updates of other upcoming activities that the city of Houston is going to be involved in. So also, while you're asking your questions, we also want to just kind of let you know that we are streaming live on our social media platform at Amos Houston TX on Facebook, as well as recording the session so people can go back and listen and receive the update and actually share this presentation with other people that may find the information to be beneficial. So while you're asking your questions, we try to ask that you keep your questions to be as general as you possibly can, not to divulge any personal detail information, about your address, where you live, so on and so forth, so that everybody can, have access to that information. So we want to try to protect your privacy as much as we possibly can throughout this presentation. So, but feel free to type any questions into the chat if you're joining us virtually. For you guys that are here in the room, if you all have questions, please wait until the end of the presentation and you have the opportunity to ask whatever questions that it is that you like of the presenters that will be joining us today. With that being said, I think we will move right along. So Ms. Myra, turn it over to you.
Thanks, Ms. Nia. Can you hear me, Diana?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Myra Hippolyte, and welcome to Coffee and Conversation with the City of Houston Department of Neighborhoods. It's all about giving back free information to the Houston community. The Month of Service, we are a partner of the Month of Service partnership, and Coffee and Conversation was created by Mayor Sylvester Turner. Initially, when he first started, because he wanted a way to make sure that we could come out and talk to the community and find out your priority concerns in person. Now, one of the different processes that we're doing is it's virtually also. So we want to make sure that the people, the community leaders that are watching virtually, as well as the many community leaders here that are watching in person, can understand first, see what we're talking about, understand what we're talking about, and if they all have any questions, that we have the availability of being able to make you feel personal and make this process as easy as possible. Now, I did want to talk to you first about a couple of programs that we're having with the Department of Neighborhood. It's called Legacy Building Now and Beyond. What a lot of people want to know, what is legacy building? Legacy building is all about what you do with your life. a long time ago, a lot of people used to think legacy building was your estate plan. But now in 2023, legacy building is all about what you have done with your life to get you to where you want to be at the time that you're passing on your generational wealth to your heirs. Now, legacy building is when you're going to college. Are you getting a scholarship, or are you burdening yourself with a student loan? What college are you going to? Where are you looking for a job? Where are you going to start your first time employment, and where you plan on moving on your employment from? Where do you want to be from when you start your employment till when you retire? Legacy building is about buying life insurance, getting on Social Security, the different aspects of Social Security. What if you're a VA and you a vet and you get off the veterans insurance and you get on that Advantage plan? What happens? Do you lose your benefits? That's legacy building. Also, when you first buy your first-time home buyer, how do you protect your generational wealth? Well, we have a transfer on death deed will clinic this Saturday at Acres Homes. So what is a transfer on death deed? A transfer on death deed is if you pass tomorrow, you fill out this form before you pass, and it's called a transfer on death deed or a TOD. And you say, as of this day today, the day I notarized it, my name is Myra Hippolyte, and the day I pass, I am leaving this property to Nia Murray. So then when I pass, I get it notarized. I file it in Harris County for what, $34? That's it, compared to going through probate that they charge you $3,400. And it takes years, sometimes, especially here in Harris County, it may take a couple of years for you to go through probate. But if you can create a transfer on death deed for $34, you file it with Harris County, and it costs you maybe about $30 to get it notarized. You would then, Nia would go the day I pass, Nia would go, here's Myra's death certificate, take it to Harris County Clerk's office, an affidavit of death, excuse me. And you take it to Harris County Clerk's office and you say, look, Myra Hippolyte passed and she left me this property. So she filed a transfer on death deed. Here's my driver's license. They would have look and see if I filed a transfer on death deed. If I filed a transfer on death deed, they would automatically change the title of the property to Nia Murray for $34. Easy as pumpkin pie. That's baking a pumpkin pie. It's well, that depends if you can cook, if you can bake. And if we're talking about Myra Hippolyte, you don't want to taste my baking, so it would be difficult for me, but it would be easy, just like signing your name. You want to make sure that if you're buying a house and if you're closing on your home, you fill out a transfer on death deed and file it. Now, don't put your transfer on death deed in a drawer after you filled it out and not filed it. You know, make sure you take the time to protect your legacy and file that transfer on death deed. Another thing that we're having this Saturday at Acres Homes is a legacy building resource fair. Now, when you're talking about legacy, remember I talk about student loans, we're talking about insurance, stocks, bank accounts. What do you do with your savings? The interest rate is high right now. Is that good for me or is that bad for me? Legacy building is all encompassing your life. And that's what we want to make sure with the City of Houston Department of Neighborhoods is that you're educated on how to legacy build. Now, one of the greatest part about this program is our legacy building now and beyond is hosted by the Department of Neighborhoods, but it is also sponsored by the Mayor's Office of Complete Communities with support of the African American Mayors Association. Now, we have this wonderful grant to assist and educate the community on how to protect your generational wealth and build your legacy. Now, in all sorts of areas in Houston, everybody already knows how to build legacy. In different areas of Houston, they don't know. And in different areas of Houston, they know about the transfer on death deed. And just by looking at some of your faces, many of you didn't know about a transfer on death deed, how easy it is to protect your generational wealth. And that, my friend, is easy, not difficult, and it's not hard to fill out. Now, another thing that we're going to be talking about is, guys, we have amazing partners that are going to be introducing themselves today and going to be talking to you about what they do, how they can serve you, how they can serve the community. And we have a great speaker, Ms. Manning, and she will be talking about the ballots, voter ballots. And you know, let me tell you, my husband and I, every time we go through and we have to go vote, you know, my husband is like, okay, what are the ballots? And I don't understand the ballots. And I do the same thing. And we have to go through the ballot and read it, understand it, write some notes. So Ms. Manning here is going to make it so easy for you when you go out and you're voting. Because when you go out and vote, you have to be educated in the process. You don't want to just go out there and say, well, I'll just vote for whatever and say yes or no and not understand the process. So we're honored also. Once everyone, all their dignitaries introduce themselves, Ms. Manning will come in and introduce herself at the last point, and then she'll start her virtual presentation. After she finishes, then everyone will have about 30 minutes to ask questions. But also, this is called Coffee and Conversation, so this is very informal. So we want you to have coffee, and if you're at home, get you some coffee, get you a donut. And please think about Myra when you're having your donut, because I cannot have any donuts right now. So enjoy your donut for me. And all of you that are here, enjoy the pastries and enjoy the coffee and the juice. Thank you. And Mr. Simon, would you start off by introducing yourself? Come on over here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Kevin Simon, and I'm representing the Department of Neighborhood. What we do is, what we do is enforce code enforcement throughout the community, the dangerous building, the high weeds, and some heavy trash.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
Good morning. My name is Justice QT McCollum, and I work for City Council with Councilmember Sally Alcorn, and I am her community outreach liaison. And so if there's anything that you all want to address after this meeting regards of what's going on in your neighborhood, I'm a great resource to connect with.
Hello, everybody. This is Melanie from Harris County Tax Office. Later on, we will just update a little bit about what is going to be on our November ballot regarding the property tax. Thank you. See you later.
Good morning. My name is Richard Nguyen. I'm with Solid Waste Management Department. Our department is one department with three functions: sanitary, safety, and health. So if you have any question, call 311, or you can also catch me at my table there. And I also have a second announcement I like to make. I am also a candidate for City Council at large, number 3, and I would appreciate your support. Let's make a difference. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Charles Cave. I'm president of the Crestmont Park Civic Alliance. We're located in the South Park area of town. We're celebrating this year our 60th anniversary, and we're doing it with a gala that will be on October the 20th. If you're interested in participating and supporting our efforts, you can go on our website, which is www.crestmontpark.org, and purchase a ticket, add, or do just a patrons list. Whatever you are willing and able to do, we support it. We appreciate it, and thank you for your support.
And we are honored to, with our presence, Justice Wanda Adams, Justice of the Peace Wanda Adams is here. and she'd like to introduce herself.
Good morning, everybody. Can you all hear me? Do I have to come to the-
Yeah.
I have to come.
Oh, right here.
Okay. Oh, that's right, you on Zoom.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, good morning, everybody. I am Wanda Adams, and I have the awesome opportunity of serving as Harris County Justice of the Peace Precinct 7, Place 1, exactly where you are today. And I was just telling her that normally I have a schedule this morning. I'm actually usually in court on Tuesday mornings, but I didn't have a criminal docket today. So I just live right down the street. So I said, let me swing by and just say hello. I was actually coming just to hear the information, not to speak. So it's just an honor. And so I just coming by just to say hello. People usually don't invite judges out because, I mean, either you committed a crime or you didn't. And so I'm sure none of you run red lights. I'm sure you all paying your bills. So I probably would never see you in my court. I don't want to see you in there. But I just want to come out and say hello to all of you. And many of you who've been knowing me for many years, Mr. K, Mr. Scott, and many of you, I've been out here now for over 24 years and elected for 15. So it's indeed an honor just to come by and say hello to the community. And I actually just came just to listen, to see what you have to say. And maybe it's something that we could do together around evictions or something like that, or how to, you know, and I can't tell you to slow down. I wish I could, so you won't get a ticket. But I started that. But thank you all so much for just what you do in the community. And thank you, Don, for Mr. Polite, for just being a part of the community as always. And to everyone on Zoom, hey, everybody. All right, talk to y'all later. Thank you again. I'm Wanda Adams. I am your Harris County Justice of the Peace Precinct 7, place number 1. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, you all received your packages from the Department of Neighborhoods. Make sure you take a look at all the flyers that are in. I'll go by and bring them to you. And make sure you look at all the flyers, everything that's going on recently or within the next few months. We also have September's schedule and October's schedule. We have Houston Community Building Wealth Day. This is sponsored by, we were going to have Mayor Turner, Commissioner Ellis, and it's a process for the NAREB Building Black Wealth Tour. And then it's sponsored by the National Black Realtor Association. So it's going to be on October 7th at the Power Center, and we hope to see you all there. I will be sending out all the flyers, as well as the month of service partners will be sending out the flyers. And now, the greatest information, and I tell everyone, this is so important for you to get educated in ballots, how to understand your ballot. What is it when you're going out and voting? Why is it so important to understand what you're voting? So now we are here with Miss Manning. You want me to move it?
Yeah, it should be fine. Okay. Good morning. Can you all hear me online? Okay.
Can she hear her? Yeah.
Yes, I hear a little bit of.
Okay, great. Okay, well, good morning. We'll try and make this as efficient as possible, because sometimes this can be a lot of information. I am Tanisha Manning. And I am, oh, I guess I'm on camera twice. It's okay. I'm the founder and executive director of Engaged Voters, which is a nonpartisan nonprofit that targets young Black Americans to try and increase the vote through information and post-election engagement. We also strive to, I need to do something. We strive to, we reach all Americans, but that's just our target audience. So you'll see me a lot of times in Southeast Houston. However, I don't mind coming to other areas of the city to share this information. So today what I'm gonna do is we are coming up on the November 2023 election. And so I don't touch on candidates per se, but I touch on positions. And so I ensure that folks understand what is happening, what the positions mean. And then the easy part is for you all to go and look up the candidates on the ballot. All righty. And so again, this is just about my organization and everything that I just said in the beginning. Disclaimer, This is the legal side of me. This is not all the information you could or can include. The info is in layman terms as much as possible. I try and break it down so the average citizen can understand, especially a millennial. My verbal commentary will explain more than what is included in these slides. Sources are varied, they are mentioned when necessary, and you all are encouraged to do your own research as well. So before you vote, you have to know what or who you are voting for. Trivia question, we'll go through this real quick. I don't have any swag items with me today because I'm heading right to work after this. But when is the last day you can register to vote? Anybody can call it out. What'd you say? October 10th, yes. I knew you all would know. Unfortunately, a lot of younger voters do not know, but most of the time it's because they're already registered to vote, hopefully. All righty, so before we can get into the ballot, you have to understand how the government works. Sorry, I kind of move a little bit when I talk, so I'll try and stay within the parameters of the camera. But there are different levels of the government. And it's hard to understand how your vote ties to your day-to-day lives if you don't understand how government works. A lot of times organizations tell us, register to vote and go vote. But they miss the very important pieces of how that vote ties to our daily lives. We understand the historical reasons and why folks are trying to suppress our votes, but that does not register with millennials and Gen Z. They want to know how this relates to them. So we break it down. We're very intentional about the examples we use. It doesn't necessarily mean we participate or do any of these things. It's just examples that really make sense to us. So of course you have at the federal level, you have your president of the United States with the Congress. At the state level, you have governor with the state legislator. At the county level, you have your county judge and you have your county commissioners. And each of these three entities, they have jurisdiction over various things. So a lot of times folks are like, well, what is President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris doing for us? And I'm like, well, they actually do not control if there are potholes on your street. So if the person that you're probably looking for is somewhere at the city level. And so and even at the state level, we know that our Black and brown neighborhoods are harmed the most by criminalization of marijuana. So they're like, okay, we need to legalize it. Actually, a lot of states at the state level have the power to legalize marijuana or not. Recreational use, I've never used it, but again, however, the federal level could try to do it, but they have not chosen that route. So most states have done it on their own. As of August, 23 states have legalized it. So issues like this, you take that to your state level. You don't necessarily go to the other levels of government. And same with the county, toll roads, tax rates, flood control. Those issues lie at the county level. Although in the city of Houston, it gets a little bit of blurred lines because the city of Houston does have some jurisdiction over some of these things. So what do we get to? We get down here to the mayor and city council. This is the election that we are in. The city council is comprised of the mayor and the city council members. The mayor approves or vetoes decisions dependent on the state in the city, or depending on the city. In the city of Houston, the mayor does not have veto power. We'll get into all the powers and authorities of each of the positions. Here's my favorite example. If you've ever heard me give this presentation, you probably heard it before. So I take it all the way down to, okay, right now, in the city of Houston, we have a jail that is overpopulated. The jail is comprised of a lot of Black and brown people. And you get to questioning, okay, why are all of our folks inside of this jail? And who do I need to call to get this to change? You can go about it a few ways, but you can also look at, okay, well, who's arresting our people the most, right? And if you look at the data, it'll show that HPD arrests the most folks in the city of Houston. So then you're asking, well, who is over HPD? I need to talk to them. And you'll go to your chief of police because the chief of police is over HPD. If you feel like, when we get upset, we're like, okay, I want to talk to your manager. Then you're trying to figure out, okay, who is over HPD, the chief of HPD? That would be the mayor. The mayor appoints the chief of police. The mayor appoints a lot of other positions as well. And so I tell folks, it trickles all the way down to, okay, what's going on in our neighborhoods, all the way back up to the folks that we actually elect, okay? Any questions about any of that before I move forward? And if you're on Zoom, you may have to come off mute because I can't see everything. Okay, so this is the local election for city elected officials. There is not a primary election, meaning you will not select a candidate for each party. Multiple candidates for all parties can run at one time. I'm really trying to explain this to folks that when they get to the polls and when they look at the ballot, it's gonna be a lot of names. There are, I think, over 70 candidates that are running for all the positions in the city of Houston. So there are gonna be a lot of names and you're gonna be like, well, I'm looking for my party. No, your party might be represented multiple times on the ballot. This is a local election. Only people with a city of Houston address can vote for the officials. I have learned that there is some area in Missouri City that is able to vote for the mayor, but typically if it says Houston, Texas, this is that election. So Dallas is not gonna see any of this. Austin, they're not gonna see these positions. They will see the constitutional amendments, which we'll get to that. There will also be propositions and state constitutional amendments on the ballot. There may be a runoff election because there are so many candidates. So that when neither receives more than 50% of the vote, the top two will then have to run again. So be on the lookout to go back to the polls in December because there may be, typically there is a runoff election with these local elections. So what's on the ballot? You will see the City of Houston mayor, City of Houston council members, district seats and at-large seats, the City of Houston controller, HIC school district trustees. I know the state has taken over. There's still an election for the trustees. The City of Houston charter amendments, there are 2. Harris County proposition, there is 1. State of Texas constitutional amendments, there are 14. There are about 17 candidates running for the City of Houston mayor. Depending on where you live, as far as the district seats and the at-large seats, there's about 6, 7. Some of them only have like 2 running. City of Houston controller, there are 4. School district trustees, there are 4, 3. City of Houston charter amendments 2. And so we're gonna break all of this down as quickly as I can so you can get a full overview. All righty, we'll skip this trivia question. So City of Houston mayor. Again, 17 candidates are running for mayor. So what does the mayor do? The mayor presides over city council meetings and has a vote for all decisions. Essentially, the mayor is the CEO of the council. So a lot of times when someone oversees a council, they may not necessarily have a vote. In the City of Houston, the mayor also has a vote. Another unique thing about our city is that the mayor chooses what will be on the agenda for every city council meeting. So city council meetings are held Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Whatever is going to be discussed at that city council meeting, it is at the decision of the mayor. Now, does the mayor wake up in the middle of the night and say, you know what, I'm going to take all this off the ballot and this is what off the agenda, this is what we're going to talk about tomorrow? Typically, no. A good mayor is actually in communication with all the appropriate council members and different agencies and departments to ensure that the agenda reflects what the people need to hear. However, if the mayor did choose to wake up in the middle of the night and say, this is not what we're going to discuss, they do have that power. The mayor, this is an important part that a lot of people kind of look over. The mayor appoints department heads and members of city advisory boards. The mayor does not lead every department in the city, not day-to-day operations. The mayor appoints those folks who will be in charge. So right now, this is led by the Department of Neighborhoods. The Department of Neighborhoods is led by Takasha Francis. She was appointed by the mayor and city council voted unanimously voted to approve her. So we have solid waste, we have public works, we have Department of Neighborhoods, we have a lot of different agencies and departments within the city. And the person that is over appointing those directors and department heads will be the mayor. So once you get to thinking about going to vote, you're looking at the ballot, you're like, well, who do I want to elect that I can also ensure I'm not just electing them, I'm electing the people that they can appoint that will have control over my day-to-day, not necessarily lives, but the day-to-day issues in my life. They sign all motions, resolutions, and ordinances passed by city council. They do not have veto power. So essentially, if city council approves and say, this is what we approve, the mayor cannot circle back and say, actually, no, because the city of Houston mayor does not have veto power. They advise on finances and presents the annual budget each year. The budget is super important. There is billions of dollars that the city of Houston has, and the mayor is the one who proposes the budget. So again, does the mayor wake up in the middle of the night and say, this is where all the money is gonna go? Not necessarily. That's where the politics come in. Folks hate to talk about that because that's just what it is. But there are discussions held with various agencies and various council members and things to reflect what the budget should look like. So typically, when the city council and whatnot, when they see the budget as it is proposed, it's not anything that they've never seen before. It's already kind of been floating around. But the mayor gets to drive what is prioritized in the budget or not. Some mayors may feel like, okay, as our current mayor has focused a lot on illegal trash dumping and solid waste and adding more money to solid waste. Another mayor may say, actually, I don't think solid waste should be prioritized more than this other issue. And so things are kind of reflected differently based on who is in that position. They manage the day-to-day operations of the city and represents the city at all levels. When I say manage the day-to-day operations, they don't actually touch the day-to-day operations, but all those department heads have to report back to the mayor. And the mayor can direct them to do this or that, right? So while the mayor may not necessarily be out in the street every single day on the minor or major things, the mayor does have the authority to tell their directors and department heads what they should or should not be focusing on. Okay, the mayor's in the office for 4 years. They can run again for a second term of 4 years, but no more after that. If you're not aware, this is Mayor Sylvester Turner's last term. He cannot run again. So although we may love our mayor, he cannot run again. Relevant issues to the mayor's position, as I stated, the chief of police, police budget, construction, street repair, illegal trash dumping. How much money does the mayor make? I always include this, especially for millennial voters, because they're always like, where's our money going? I can't see here, but this is why I reported the source. This is Houston Chronicle, March 2023, over $200,000 that the mayor makes, okay? Any questions about the position of the mayor? Okay, I think I went a little fast. Y'all are like, this is a lot. It's okay. Okay. City of Houston council members. All righty, so what is the structure of the council members and why are there so many? The city has 16 council members. Each area in the city is assigned one council member they can vote for. They are identified by letters A through K. The city also has 5 at-large members that represent the entire city, no matter the area. So everyone in the city votes for those seats. So when you get to your ballot, depending on what district you're in, you're only going to see one of those letters, A through K. But you're going to see all 5 at-large council seats. So I am a District D resident. I do this presentation a lot in District D, which is why District D is the only letter position up here. But District D will be on the District D ballot only, and then all the at-large positions. So District D has 5 people running for office. I'm not sure which districts, The at-large positions, for position 1, there are 6 candidates. For position 2, there are 6 candidates. For position 3, there are 9 candidates. For position 4, there are 4 candidates. For position 5, there are 3. So again, you're gonna see a lot of names on the ballot. And you wanna understand first what their positions do before you go and look up all of these folks. So what do city council members do? I did this presentation last week and someone asked, well, it seems like city council doesn't have any power if the mayor gets to set the agenda and the mayor, gets to do the budget and things. Well, actually they do. The city council members are the ones who vote on these things. So while the mayor can appoint someone, if city council feels like they don't like the person or they don't think that the person will be the most effective in the job, they can decide to vote no on that appointment, and the mayor has to circle back and find someone else to appoint. So it's almost like a checks and balances type thing. They approve or deny all appointments. They adopt or vote no on the city budget. So while the mayor may propose the budget, city council could say, I'm not feeling that much money for this particular department, or I'm not feeling that much money for this area. So I'm gonna vote no on this area. So city council members do have the yes or no voting power. They make or amend city laws, policies, and ordinances, and they ensure that their geographic area is properly taken care of. So let's break this down real quick. For all the district council member seats A through K, they have approximately $1 million to use in discretionary funds. It's a little bit under $1 million, but they can choose to use this money in their district whichever way they deem necessary with a few parameters. So if they say, you know what, I'm gonna use my money to fix up this part in this part of my district, they have discretionary funds to do that. Where we come in as the voters, we're able to say, I know you have this money, wink. This is where I think that you should use, this is how I think that you should spend the money. Now, I do wanna say city council member offices, they typically have very few staff. A lot of times we see them and we're thinking that they have a staff of about 20 folks. It's typically about 3 folks in their office, including them, it may be 4. And so a lot of times the folks we are electing, they cannot hire as many people to address as many issues. That does not mean though that they cannot focus on any issues at all, because they're separated by districts for a reason. They're breaking it up. The city breaks it up into small pieces. So parks, streets and roads, etc., those are led by your city council members. Now, although they may not have a lot of money outside of that approximately $1 million, a lot of decisions that are voted on at city council, they're for the entire city, right? And so your district members can still make sure that funds are allocated properly in some way. While it may not come out of their office, it's coming from the city level and they can vote yes or no. They can also request that things are placed on the agenda that might necessarily impact their district specifically. Of course, that is based on the mayor's ultimate decision, which we'll get to some propositions that could possibly change that. They're in office for 4 years. They can run again for a second term of 4 years, but no more after that. Relevant issues, street fixtures, noise ordinances. District D is also comprised of 3rd Ward. There's always a lot of commotion around the noise in 3rd Ward. And so this kind of falls on your council members about trying to address that issue. Safety tools. When I say safety tools, you all may have heard of things such as ShotSpotter or such as lights and cameras and things to make sure that we are safe in our neighborhoods. That can come from your city council members, as well as like illegal trash dumping. So while the mayor leads those efforts, some of those discretionary funds can, and I know that District D has used them before, to contract with other folks to also pick up illegal trash dumping. So these are a lot of the things that your city council members have power and authority over. I couldn't find the most recent salary. This was from 2019. With inflation, I would hope that they're a little bit over $62,000, but this is the average annual salary of city council members. Any questions?
I know you said the budget for the districts alphabet-wise, but the budget for the Lord.
They don't receive that discretionary fund. And I don't know exactly how much, but I know they don't receive that discretionary fund. Yeah. All righty. City of Houston Controller. You might also see Comptroller, it's the same thing. There are 4 candidates running for City of Houston Controller. What do? They are the Chief Financial Officer. These are the money men or money women. They maintain checks and balances for all the city's money. So essentially, before something is like passed, like, oh, we're gonna spend this money on that, you have to check in with your controller to make sure that the accounts actually have that money for us to be able to spend it. They invest the city's funds, that's like a state mandate. They audit departments and federal grant programs. So our people's favorite question is, where is our money going? You should totally call your city controller's office to ask them, what does your audit say about where our money is going? They determine ways to save money or spend money more effectively. So they're essentially looking at all of these accounts and they're like, well, it probably doesn't make the most sense to spend this money from this account because we're close to running out of funds in this account, but it may make a little bit more sense to use funds from here. So they're supposed to, a good city controller is always making sure that we don't go bankrupt, that we have money in times of emergencies such as hurricanes or the pandemic. They are the chief financial officer. Someone asks, well, why are they elected? They're elected because if you appoint your city controller, then there's always the opportunity for a conflict of interest, a bias. Oh, okay, if the mayor appointed me, then I'm going to make sure that this budget reflects the mayor. No, the people elect you because you have to answer to the people for our taxpayer dollars. So essentially, this is why the City of Houston controller is an elected position. Relevant issues is whether the city departments are spending their money properly. Are we saving money? These are questions that you can ask your city controller. I could not find their salary. However, there are folks under the city controller that make over $150,000. So we know that the city controller makes over $150,000. All righty. School district trustees, we recognize that the state has taken over HISD. However, they will still be on the ballot for certain seats. And it's still unclear what their roles will look like. It's supposed to be advisory, but whether they take their advisement is a different discussion. However, if the state ever gives ownership back to the district, whoever is currently in office will have that authority. So you kind of want to think about that. If they ever decide, well, we're going to pack up and leave out, whoever is in those positions, then the power now goes back to them. All righty, propositions and constitutional amendments. There are certain city, county, and state level decisions that cannot be made without the voters' permission. So sometimes the city council decisions are made, they never ask us. Sometimes at the county commissioner's court and at the state legislature. But there are some, you gotta come back to the people, it has to get on the ballot. So the city of Houston has 2 charter amendments that will be on the ballot. This is probably gonna be the most confusing part on the ballot for you because the wording is absolutely crazy. So I tell folks, I went to law school, I graduated, I read all kinds of stuff. But when I look at propositions and amendments, I'm like, well, why? Just why? So I'm gonna try and break them down for you. However, once you see them, we highly encourage you to print out your sample ballot so you can see it ahead of time and you can understand, does agree mean I'm agreeing with this? Is it yes or no? Agree or not agree? You wanna make sure you understand that. So the charter amendments for the city of Houston, the first one would be, if you agree or say yes, any 3 council members have power to place an item on the weekly agenda, or you can disagree or say no. So what does that mean? I just explained that the mayor has the full authority of what gets on the agenda. This new charter amendment, if passed, will allow 3 city council members to come together and say, actually, this is also going to be on the agenda, and they will be able to place that item on the agenda. So this is not in effect yet, but this is a charter amendment. It took about 20,000 votes from the people for this to even be on the ballot, which was actually a couple of years ago, and now it's on the ballot at this time. The second charter amendment, it will require Houston reps to exit regional organizations that do not apportion votes based on population. That was a lot, and that was still in more simple terms than what you're gonna see. Essentially, this came from, if you look up Fair for Houston, you'll really understand where this charter amendment is coming from. Houston is a part of HGAC, the Houston Galveston Area Council. Thank you. It's acronyms everywhere. Houston Galveston Area Council. This council can apportion funds to cities, counties based on population. We all know that the city of Houston is the 4th largest city. And so what the folks from Fair for Houston, they determined, or actually, that's a whole nother separate conversation. But however, the discussion was that the funds were not apportioned properly to the city of Houston, and yet we're still a member of HGAC. And so what they decided to do was propose a charter amendment that if these folks do not apportion funds to us properly, then we should be able to leave those organizations. And so again, it took over 20,000 votes, because if you want amendments such as this on the ballot, the people have to decide. And now it will be on the ballot in November. So you can agree or you can disagree. I will say this, it won't, if it passes, it won't immediately mean that that Houston can lead the regional organization. There will still be a process of like talking about it, figuring it out. But it would at least be able to trigger that process, okay? I know there was a lot to unpack. That's not my favorite subject or topic either, because I'm not the most expert in it, but that is a quick overview. For the county level, there's one bond proposition on the ballot for the county level. A bond is essentially a credit card. The county is asking, can we get a credit card worth $2.5 billion? Yes, that's a lot of money, to address LBJ, Ben Taub, and other county clinics. Okay. And that will be over a 10-year span. And so essentially, that's a lot of money, and the folks need to agree. The people need to agree or disagree whether we want to spend that much money or not. You all are probably very familiar with LBJ and Ben Taub. This bond proposition is basically asking, can the people vote yes to give some TLC, some tender loving care, to the county hospitals and clinics? Now, there's the state level laws. There are 14 constitutional amendments. Unfortunately, I'm not going to quite break those down, but I will ensure that you have the explanatory sheet that breaks it down for you. There are 14 constitutional amendments for various issues. These constitutional amendments, because they are statewide, everyone in the entire state of Texas are going to be able to vote on them. So while Houston is voting for mayors, city council members, a city of Houston ordinances, the other cities and counties and jurisdictions in Texas will have this on their ballot. There are 14 of them. The terminology is very lengthy for each of those, but the state of Texas, you can Google it, it is online. They have an explanatory document. I'm gonna hijack half of your emails from the sign-in sheet, because I'm going to email the explanatory document to you so that you can review those constitutional amendments. Okay, we'll skip that. So I leave you with saying, print out your sample ballots. The best place to go is harrisvotes.org. They should be available, I think, this week, where you can log in or not log in. You can type in your address and it will give you exactly what your ballot is going to look like. And essentially, you can take all of this information and be able to understand what you're voting for. I would also tell you to look maybe at the League of Women Voters for candidates. They do a great job of breaking down who the candidates are. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, so we just leave that to them. Ballotpedia.org, sometimes it's a little wonky, but sometimes it's pretty good. My email, which I did not include on here, is Tanisha at engagevoters.org. Let's see if I can go ahead and add it in. So you all can email me if you would like. If you think I need to do this in your neighborhood or city, go ahead and reach out to me. Early voting begins October 23rd. And okay. And yeah, that's my. Oh, I stopped sharing my screen. Okay, yes, TANISHA, or maybe I got logged out of the Zoom. Oh, no, I didn't. At engage, that's with an ED, voters.org. Y'all see that?
And then we'll have questions after that.
Okay.
In about 15 minutes after that.
Okay. All righty, let me mute.
for local appraisal district. Okay, so that will be the summary for what is going to show up on our November ballots. And right now, my coworker
Could you
Elisa,
say it again because I had you on mute?
from very beginning.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Controversially, so I apologize.
Not a problem. Okay, so we are going to see those proposals on our November ballots in November 7th, which is the election day. But we can see this regarding the property tax. The first one, there will be 12 billions of school tax cut. That's for the whole homeowner as well as the property, commercial property. The second will be increase the homestead exemption from current $40,000 to $100,000. The third one will be a pilot program for 3 years. For those properties which is not with the homestead status, it won't have more than 20% appraisal value to be appraised. The fourth one, it will be cut over the franchise tax for the small business. And the fifth one will add it a little bit more, propose the elected position to the appraisal board. And those are the major summary for our November ballot regarding the property tax. And now my coworker Elisa will just introduce again for the Spanish.
Thank you.
Hola, buenos días. Mi nombre es Elisa y nosotros estamos aquí con los recaudadores de impuestos de Harris County y registrador de votantes. So, en las propuestas que vamos a estar experimentando este noviembre 7, va a estar basado en más de 12,000 millones para recordar las tasas de impuestos a la propiedad escolar para todos los propietarios de viviendas y negocios propietariamente dichos. La exención también que va a estar propuesta va a ser de la exención de 40,000 a 100,000 para la residencia primaria. Las propiedades no familiarizadas con el valor de 5 millones o menos incluirá las propiedades residenciales y comerciales recibirán un interpretor de circuito de 20% sobre el valor de la tasación con el proyecto pilotado de 3 años. Ahorrar en los impuestos de Francia para los pequeños negocios y empresas. Los nuevos cargos electores a la Junta de Evaluaciones Locales. Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Now it's time for our questions. And we have a lot of community leaders that have some questions. Justice Adams?
Give an example, so if somebody's house is valued at 200,000, how would that affect that person?
Could you take this? Okay.
Yes, come on over
Can you
here.
just repeat the question?
Yeah, repeat the question, talk loud, okay.
All right, so ladies' question is now if the voter approved,
Justice of the Peace
it
Adams.
already passed. Okay,
Justice of the Peace Adams asked a question, and what was the question?
okay. So the question is about if the house value, appraisal value is $200,000. And now if we already passed this $100,000, so the first step is to minus that exemption 100,000 from the appraisal value. So that will become the taxable value for your house. So now $200,000 will minus $100,000. And then,
Bills should go down.
yes, that's the reason it can reduce your property tax. So go vote on election day or early voting days from October 23rd to November 3rd. Okay.
Stay right here because they're gonna,
Sure.
any more questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, so we know that the legislation put forth this, so it's being voted at the county level,
For this one, this is statewide.
right?
Make sure to
Okay.
say the question and then, yes.
Okay, I will repeat the question
Yes.
again. So this regarding all the property tax
Right.
proposal, they are on the, so the question is it in the county level Okay, so actually it's on the mandate state level,
Right.
so it will apply to county too.
So it's statewide.
Yes,
It's not just City of Houston, it's not just Harris County. So statewide, everyone has to go out and vote. And if it's approved,
yes.
because it's not approved yet, and the voters make that decision. So
Right.
make sure you go out and vote yes or no, because we are not telling anyone where to vote or how to vote or what you should vote. But if you're interested in your taxes, the homestead exemptions going up from 40,000 to 100,000, and if you're over 65, 110,000, then yes, if you want that, or if you don't want that, please make sure you go out and vote, because that's your right. And we want to make sure everyone understands that. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So if you're over 65, it's 110,000.
If it's approved. He said it would be, but we're not saying that.
I know you can't say it, but I thought those things, and no, they were.
But you know what? That's, everyone thinks this is gonna happen, but that's why we need everyone to go out and vote.
Yeah.
Don't automatically think, yes, it's already gonna be approved. So you need to take the time out of your busy schedule, because we know you're all busy, and go out and decide and vote. Yes, you want the homestead exemption to be 100,000, or if you're over 65, 110, or you do not want 100,000 homestead exception, or if you do not want an over 65, 110 exception. Now, let me explain. Let me ask you a question. Yes. And you may not know, but just in case, what is the percentage of over 65 homestead exceptions that people have applied here in Houston, Harris County?
I actually have no idea.
It's about 60% of the over 65, the community that's over 65 that has even applied for an over 65 homestead exemption. So if you know a senior that's over 65, they're also a property owner, educate them about the difference between how it can benefit them to apply for over 65 homestead exemption.
Okay, let me just add another one. So this over 65 exemption, the first thing is this property has to be a homestead status.
Right?
Yeah, so the home status, if it's $100,000, and the senior over 65 exemption actually at this current level is $10,000. That's the reason if $100,000 is proved, then we will add another 10,000. So that will just, Myra said, about $10,000 for the seniors.
Yes, sir.
So if you have multiple properties, you can only apply for one homestead.
Yes, only one. You only can have one.
So what was his question?
The question is, if a homeowner can only have one homestead or more than one homestead status property. Okay, so the exemption only qualifies for one homestead.
So you're telling me if I own 6 properties and I actually live in one,
Yes.
so I can only get homestead in one?
Yes. So you
Oh.
need to figure out which one can get you save the most. Yes.
Exactly. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood, because, you know, sometimes Myra doesn't understand things the right way. Are there any other questions? Now, we also want to remind you, Harris County Appraisal District and Harris County Tax Office is a partner in the A Month of Service Partnership. You can get all this information during our weekly, daily, virtual workshops if you go to nrcdc.org. And the property tax workshop is tomorrow. Now, let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the property tax. Nia and I have been taking this virtual workshops because, you know, we're attending every day. And we're attending and learning and getting educated ourselves. So we protested the appraisal of our home, and we protest the appraisal of our home every year. I have learned so much about the protest process by attending these virtual workshops, and we have definitely benefited.
Yes, definitely.
And so one of our dear partners, they are there with us all the time, and they follow us wherever we are. So whenever you have time and you see someone from the Harris County Tax Office, always understand that they are a partner of the month of service, and they are out there in the streets, just like the City of Houston Department of Neighborhoods, and so is NRCDC, Harris County Appraisal District, we, Lone Star Legal Aid, Houston Volunteer Lawyers, Houston Bar Association. What else? Did I miss, Nia, did I miss a partner? I think I gave all 8 partners. Department of Neighborhoods, Neighborhood Recovery, Harris County Tax Office, Harris County Appraisal District, Houston Bar Association, Houston Volunteer Lawyers, Lone Star Legal Aid, TSU Earl Carl Institute. That's our next one. Now, TSU Earl Carl Institute, they are assisting us, the Department of Neighborhoods, and also Complete Communities, with the assistance of the African American Mayors Association. And we're talking about legacy building now and beyond. So we hope to see you this Saturday at Acres Homes from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And it's going to be a resource fair about your legacy, your assets, passing it on to your next generation. We're also going to be talking about transfer on death deed. How in the world could I transfer the property that I own for only $34 to my daughter or my son or all of my children or my spouse compared to $3,400? That's what we are talking about, is educating you about not only creating your estate plan, but also fill out a transfer on death deed. That should be a part of your normal estate plan process. If you're closing on your home, ask your realtor, can you add a transfer on death deed? Because when you are closing on your property, they don't, but you can request, because there's a notary there. So since they don't do it, but you can request them to notarize your transfer on death deed. And what you can do is file it at the same time you're closing. You can file it the next day at the Harris County Clerk's Office. As easy as that for $34. This protects your generational wealth at the time that you pass, and you are able to pass on your generational wealth to your heirs. Any other questions? Now we have our dear friends from the Solid Waste Department. And you know what? Councilmember Gwen is always here for us, and we want to give him some time to give back to the Houston community and give you information about the Solid Waste Department.
Good morning. Thank you again, Ms. Hippolyte. Once again, my name is Richard Nguyen. I am with Solid Waste Management Department. You know, every department in the city is going to boast that they're the best department in the city. So I'll be humble. I'll just say that Solid Waste Management is the second best department in the city. How's that? But if you look at the logo on my shirt, it says SWM. That doesn't just stand for Solid Waste Management. It stands for Super Women and Men, because we move mountains. After Harvey, we moved 100 million tons of trash away from the city so that we could be clean again. Boy, we don't want that to happen again. So Solid Waste is doing the best we can. As we are here meeting here right now, Solid Waste is opening up a new transfer station at the Northeast Service Center on Kelly. It's going to be a state-of-the-art facility where the drivers and the trucks can go and release all their haul and then go back to the route so that we don't waste any time at all. And that way the transfer station can put all that trash together and take it to the landfill. So our drivers can just continue with the route, go to the transfer station and go back to their route without having to go to the landfill and line up and get weighted and get ticketed and all that stuff. So we're gonna be a lot more efficient with our service, especially at the north side. So if you have any question at all about solid waste management, please call 311. You're always free to call our department. Get online, see what we can. For those who are here today, I have a table in the back that has all kinds of information that you can pick up. I'll be right there to answer any question you have. But if you have any questions right here, right now, I'll be willing to entertain that. Sir, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish first though.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I want to thank you guys for the tremendous work that you've been doing and this, one Clean Houston 1 is, nice program. But, the big tire, your department comes out, you're pretty decent about picking up the little bitty tires. But the big one that block the road and stay there for a long time, how can we get that done, the big tire?
Well, your council member has what they call a hot team. They usually come out and help you with that. But solid waste management also come out and pick that up. What you can do is you and your community can get together and have a schedule a cleanup where we can bring out a large roll-off container. We can clean up the community, put everything in there. So you're helping us and we can help you at the same time. Let's work together.
That sounds good, but I'm in that 65 and old group.
Well, that's why we have church members and school, Boy Scout, Girl Scout. Hey, I'm only 5 years younger than you are, but I'm still picking up tires. So hey. Yes, ma'am.
Is people putting out trash early or put it out late? If you call in and nothing.
Well, you know what? It's not just your community, it's everywhere. It's the entire city. People do that. That's why we have schedule. That's why we print out schedule, and people can always call 311 and ask, hey, when is my service day? Yes, yes, yes. Right. So right, right, right. That happens.
It's in my newsletter. It's everywhere on my web. So I send out an email. People just don't read it.
Right.
I mean, we have signs that we have 5 entrances that or Monday is your free waste. Okay.
Well, that's why.
What can be done? I call it in. Nobody, unless you give a couple of tickets, you're not gonna get this going nowhere.
Right.
Make sure they come.
You're gonna help us out. Call 311. Do it anonymously. You don't have to give your name or your address. Say, hey.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fine.
Kevin, come on over here, Kevin.
Actually, today I issued, before I came here, I issued 6 tickets for heavy traffic. So we are issuing tickets, but just because we issue a ticket, don't mean that the people are gonna move it. Okay.
Because the tickets are issued and mailed to the people. And believe me, when I'm at court on Thursday, they hot in there because they don't receive so many tickets for heavy traffic. Said, why are you writing me and my neighbors out there? What it is, when they get the tickets, they feel like is still eligible to be out there until we pick it up. No, we can go every 24 hours and issue a citation, but we don't do that because we just don't have the staff to go every 24 hours. Some people have received 4 and 5 tickets on the same pile of trash.
Okay, so the enforcement, they receive the ticket. And if they don't pay them, then you come after them, right?
Well, we don't go after them. It'll be pending there. Sooner or later, it may be a factor that they may not be able to renew their driving license or renew their ID until they solve the issue with the city. Now, how the court may take it up and solve that issue, we have no control over that.
Just keep calling 311.
There's 22.
Yeah, no, because if you call 311, we can only, am I correct on this or am I wrong? When you get a 311 concern, you go out there, make an inspection, then you issue a citation, correct?
Yes, because heavy trash is one of the only things that we do is like parking. It's a zero tolerance. Now, the placement of the trash could determine if it's truly heavy trash or if it's just trash on the property. Because if it's in the middle of the yard, even though it's heavy trash, that's not heavy trash if it's in the middle of the yard. It has to be at the curbside.
So once you issue the citation, do you close that concern?
That particular case is closed after the ticket is cited.
So it's up to you to call 311 again if the heavy trash can in view or heavy trash in view is still out there. You need to call 311 again, because once the inspector goes out and issues the citation, that concern that you had is now closed. So if you don't see your concern being taken care of, call 311 again and expedite your concern. Talk to a manager in that department and they will be able to assist you.
And one more thing on that. When you call in, keep the service request number that you have. Because if you consistently call it in, if we get 5 of them at one time, we're not gonna issue but 1 ticket at a time. Even though we may have 5 at the same time, by the time we get out there to that particular address, we have 5, we're not gonna address but 1.
Okay. Now, I have worked on this illegal dump site since 21. Since 21. Illegal dump site at 12405 South Main, Main. They told me I couldn't put South Main on. I called this in since 21. That illegal dump site is still there. I checked it yesterday when I came across the overpass. I checked to see if it's still there. I talked to 2 city council people. Okay, still that dump is still there. There are tires, there are old fencing, there's dirt, there's clothing, there's everything. And I cannot understand why the city has not done this. I really can't. Since I called it in, I got all the 311 numbers in my little book that I keep all my 311 numbers. And I checked, I went through IPS, and they said, well, ma'am, we have 140. That's why I didn't give you that. The wrong address. It's 12405 Main. And you go out there now, it was there yesterday. So I can understand, I called in for since 2 years. What's wrong? I don't know if there are any tickets. Can you check to see if there are any tickets being given on this one? And the people have not cleaned it up. And it's accessible because it used to be with an old McDonald's there. So there's a slab. There's also a curb cut. You can just fall on up there off the street, dump whatever they want to, drive right off. It's just easy. And I just don't understand why this place has been cleaned up.
It would be nice if we can have a camera there, and boy, our department's working hard on that, on getting cameras, so that we can, prevent repeat offenders.
Look, if you go on HK, you can find out. If I check HK, that's not necessarily the owner, that's just where the bill is going. Right, but so, and they may not necessarily be the owner may be an investor in a whole other state,
Yeah.
so they don't really have to look as to what's going on. So until it gets to a point where it's legal action now being taken against the property, they probably won't ever help, and really, frankly, probably don't even care.
And Ms. Gerlach,
So,
let's do this. Let's get the address and let me,
Our number?
and then we'll get you an update and get us an answer for you. Not just an answer. We want to make sure we get you the correct answer. So I will call you personally and get that information from you. Now, remember one thing is it may take us a while to get the correct answer, you know, but we want to make sure we give you the correct answer. So before you leave, make sure you give us the correct information. And by tomorrow afternoon, I'll get you an answer. Not an answer, but the correct answer.
I just want to know if anybody's been out there.
We'll take a look and we'll get you an answer for that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
There is another question online.
Awesome.
The question here, it says, there are often issues with drivers taking the bin back to the gate with the back gate pickup services. The bin is picked up, but the drivers often leave it in front of, on the front end of the house. Ms. Foreman, did you want to unmute yourself and kind of elaborate or ask a question?
Well, they're supposed to, I mean, it's full service. They pick it up, they have to drop it back, where they pick it. So they call 311. Please call 311 and report that. And then have it, forwarded to solid waste management and let us take a look at it.
And also, if you have the service request number and the address, make sure you call your council member. They can also assist you with your concerns, and as well as our mayor's assistance liaison, that they can assist you. So make sure you call 311. And has she unmuted? Ms. Foreman, go ahead and
Yes,
unmute
Ms. Foreman.
yourself.
Yes, this has been a consistent issue for well over a year. So it's been reported. It's the same driver. Now I understand when there is a driver that does not have this route, that they may do that or they may miss. But I am referring to the particular driver that is assigned to this route that does this. There have been numerous occasions where there has been foul language used because that person is on the phone with someone else while doing the services. That person has been spotted in the neighborhood smoking on the job in doing this service. So there's quite a history on this particular person. But what I'm more concerned is this is a service that's supposed to be provided. The driver has made it clear that they don't want to have to get off the truck, go to the back gate, empty the trash, and then take it back. So that's their reason for leaving it up at the front. And so I'm just having a hard time understanding. There's so many processes that the supervisor has to go through in order to discipline the driver to do the right thing.
Okay, can you please write down my email address? I'll say it slowly for you. It's my first name is Richard, so it's Richard, and then dot Nguyen, NGUYN at Houston, the letter T, the letter X .gov. So it's Richard Nguyen at HoustonTX.gov. Please send me your complaint SR number, and then I'll look it up and I'll definitely forward it to the not just the supervisor, but also the assistant director.
Any other questions for Mr. Richard? Thank you, Richard.
Thank you so much. Have a
Very
good evening.
appreciative.
Morning.
Now, we have a special guest here. She doesn't want to come up, but I'm gonna make her because she's always behind the scenes. So please, Miss Nia Murray with Neighborhood Recovery, could you please come up here and introduce yourself and talk about the A Month of Service Partnership? Thank you. Woo! And everyone saw that she rolled her eyes at me.
I like to be behind the scenes for a reason. So again, my name is Nia Murray. I am the programs coordinator with Neighborhood Recovery Community Development Corporation. And we have been one of the partners in a month of service collaboration since we started this 2017, 2018, something like that.
2017.
Yeah, long time. But basically, we kind of started the collaboration due to the fact, because we know that there are so many communities that are out there that don't have access to a lot of information. They don't know where to go, don't know who to ask for whatever questions that it is that they may have, don't know where to go for particular resources. So we decided to come together, and we used to go out into different communities, stay an entire month, pack up and go to another community, stay there for an entire month, and just how we kind of came up with a month of service. So in doing that, we were reaching a lot of people that were so grateful for the information. So, and if it's not for community members like you that actually come out to participate and ask questions and let us know what it is that we need services for, what resources that the community needs, then, you know, we won't know. We know that there are a lot of seniors that have not started to come back out to different community centers, that don't have access to Zoom. There is that technical divide. So we're asking people to pay forward the information. Make sure you talk to your neighbors, your relatives, your loved ones to let them know and share the information that we have that we're trying to get out to the community so that everybody has access to. Because I'm pretty sure with the stat that you presented about only 60% of seniors actually taking advantage of homestead exemption, there's another 40% of seniors that live on fixed income that don't take advantage of homestead exemptions. And that actually kind of leads into heirship issues and heirship property issues when they can't afford to pay that tax bill. They've had a tax deferral for several years because they haven't paid the property taxes. And by the time they pass, now their loved ones are responsible for paying a deferred tax bill for years and not even know. So have the conversations with your neighbors, with your relatives about things that are going on in the community that can actually impact them financially, mentally, physically. We're trying to get the information out and help as best we possibly can with everyone. So if anybody has any questions about the month service program, or if you have any questions or about any of the topics that we actually schedule every month, if there's something that we're not currently offering, we're in the process of trying to plan. We have a meeting that's coming up for October to plan for next year's workshops. Then let us know so we can make sure we get the information out to you guys. So thank y'all very much, and I'll go back behind the scenes. Yes, sir.
He's got a question.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get the title. The Neighborhood Recovery.
Community Development Corporation. And I have my business card here, and I have those for everybody if you have questions. Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Nia. Now, this is our special guest today. We are honored because she's always behind the scenes telling me, mute your phone, look up, smile, make a left, make a right, stop. You ran a red light. No, I'm joking. But we want to really thank Ms. Nia Murray and Neighborhood Recovery, because with the month of service, they are actually one of our administrative partners, as well as the Department of Neighborhoods, but they are the partner that pays for all of our food and our Zoom accounts. So we could not do it without Neighborhood Recovery, because as you know, the City of Houston Department of Neighborhoods does not have that type of budget for food, printing, Zoom accounts. So we're very grateful for our partners that are taking time out of their busy schedule to give back to the community, not only with their presence and their guidance and their leadership, but also with their administrative guidance and being able to afford to pay for the Zoom as well as food and printing process. Guys, don't forget, it's all about you, your legacy, your time, protecting your assets. So we're talking about three different programs right now. We're talking about the month of service partnership. It's all about giving you free information. Now, it's not legal advice. None of these three programs say at all that we are giving anyone any legal advice. Everything that we're giving out is informational and only for informational purposes only. So the program that we have for Coffee and Conversation, we have the A Month of Service program. We have Houston Community Wealth Building Day, which is NAREB Building Black Wealth Tour, and it will be in Houston on October 7th. Please go there and get educated about your legacy, about your assets and how to pass on your generational wealth. You know, a lot of times we inherit properties and we go, what can I do with this property? I mean, it's just a shack or it's land. You know, I don't really know what to do with it. A lot of times, you know, you can lease that property. You can tear down the building, because remember that what is the most important part about inheriting any property is the land. First, the land, well, no, first is the memories that you have and you carry with you, because your heirs did not work just for you to forget those memories, because that's number one. Secondly, is to protect your generational wealth and pass it on to your next generation, because that's how our generations know, hey, my great-grandfather, great-grandmother worked really hard and built this land. And, you know, we need to take care of it. We need to protect our heirship and our ancestors. Also, we have the legacy building now and beyond. So we have 4 events. The first event will be at Acres Homes on September 30th from 9 to 12 p.m. We will be offering a transfer on death deed for the first 60 participants, as well as we will be having a resource fair. And so if there's any organizations that are interested in having a table at the resource fairs, please get in touch with me at Myra, MAYRA .Hippolyte, HYPOLITE HoustonTX.gov. Also, the second event will be on October 28th, and it will be at the A-Leaf Neighborhood Center. We'll be offering also for the first 60 participants a free transfer on death deed, and then we'll also have a resource fair. The next event will be November 18th at Magnolia Multi-Service Center. And the following event, the last event, will be on December 2nd at Sunnyside Multi-Service Center. So if any of y'all are interested in the free transfer on death deed, or get educated on what is a transfer on death deed, how do I file it, how much does it cost, come out to our Acres Homes building legacy building now and beyond. And we hope to see you guys there. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to spend some time with us and have some coffee and donuts and some pastries. And if you ate a donut while we were having coffee and conversation, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I'm trying not to eat any donuts, but thank you from me. Guys, have a great day. And if you have any questions and issues and concerns, come on in.
I just want to say that next month, Coffee and Conversation in A-Leaf, I'll be your main presenter. So come and see me. I'm going to entertain you at the same time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Richard. Yes, next month they will be at the A-Leaf Neighborhood Center, and everyone is welcome for coffee and conversation. We hope to see you all there.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day and stay safe.